Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to be talking about the Montana case and what's going on with that in the JWs.
And the
And
Catholics are in the news once again.
again, oh boy,
Again. Can
like,
you
is that
imagine?
even a surprise anymore?
Not for me.
All right, well, let's roll that intro and get into it. All right, so we are back for another week of fun shenanigans on the show and bringing you the news and giving you your injection of religious tea.
Just like you like it.
Just like you like it, right in the arm, in the deep vein.
Oh, gosh. Just like that?
Well, I mean, all your talk about, your sexty texty from your show Sunday kind of has got me going,
Got us revved up. We're revved up for the
Yes,
week. Good.
that's right.
Glad I could accommodate.
You lubricated the week for us all.
Oh, yeah. We're going to slide right through to the weekend.
Till the grand finish.
It's always a happy ending on Apostate Weekly.
Yes, it is.
We're canceled already.
I know, right?
Oh,
Good thing we're
brother.
not monetized, because that would have been right out the window for that.
You lost that.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Oh.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
So let's go ahead and get into our first story here.
Mm-hmm.
So as we know, there's been some lawsuits going on in the state of Montana. And these lawsuits, the witnesses are fighting hand and tooth any way they can to get out of paying or doing anything that they have to do for them, which is disgusting, really.
Oh, yeah.
So, and one of the things the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society did is they filed what's called a motion for protective order. Now, what does that mean? A motion for protective order is a request that's made by one party to the court to protect them from potentially harmful actions by the other party. And it's usually in regards to sharing information during the legal process. Now, what information, you might ask, could the Watchtower and Bible Tract Society not want to share with the court?
Curious.
I mean, they only have this, and it's been proven, a database full of pedophiles that they are harboring that they don't want to release.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to share that?
If you see this screen here, and this is the district court judge here in Montana, their motion for protective order has been denied.
Womp, womp.
Because
loser.
In the discovery process of this, they have found that Watchtower and Bible Tract Society has been doing a bait and switch on what they say and do. Also, they have undermined their integrity by their actions. And, they say one thing, oh, we protect our children, we do this. But then when it comes to actually showing their hand and doing it, they're not. And so the court is recognizing this. Take note, Jehovah's Witnesses. The courts are recognizing their dubious practices and trying to keep child abuse in these cases covered up. Yeah. They don't want this information to get out to the public.
Straight line to cover the tails.
If you're a victim and this information will help protect you, they don't want to protect you. They want to
Mm-mm.
protect their own bottom dollar. And that's all this is about.
Yeah. Victims are not a priority. Their reputation and their cash flow is the
Exactly.
priority. A lawyer will even lie in a court of law when he's like taken oaths to not do that kind of thing. He's like perjuring himself with no problem. I find that fascinating.
Exactly. And, you know, these cases are these are set to go back on trial in the fall of 2024. So we still got to wait more to see how this is going to play out.
Hmm.
But in this, for this right here, this is a victory. You know, take the little victories as we can along the way, because
Definitely.
these things are huge. And
Agree.
it's really showing who these people are. Instead of listening to what they say they are, they're showing who they are. And that is what's more important. You know, there's what's the saying? If somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. Right. They're
And this
showing
is
themselves
showing who they are. So
to be
believe this.
liars.
Yeah.
That who, how can you purport yourself to be, truth tellers? You have the truth, yet you're trying to hold back discovery of information from victims just to cover your tail. So you don't care. They don't care about truth. They've made that abundantly clear. It's just about keeping money in their pockets.
Oh yeah. And I mean, this is just one example of many. I mean,
Just
if
one.
you
Oh my God.
I mean, we could pick on
Drop in a
so many
bucket.
court cases. We can go into their doctrine and all that. There's just so many examples of them trying to hide the truth. And then on top of that, wanting to blame either the rank and file witnesses or blame the victims, blame everybody else but themselves and take personal responsibility for it.
Exactly. But that is, I mean, that is their MO. It's like, I love that Mary taught me, excuse me, that Phoenix taught me Darvo, because I never had even heard about it, but it really is how the organization behaves. And even in this case, you can see how they've done that deny, they flip it around, they reverse everything back onto the victims. Like, okay, well, you have
Mm-hmm.
to do this in order to get the information. And then when they try to do that to get the information, they say, oh, we have nothing to do with him. Yeah, so I don't even know why you're trying to get the information from us, because we're not them. Which is it?
Yeah.
What it's really confusing, and the sad thing is that they have the money to spin the wheels of the court system, but everyday people like you and I mean, we're losing work and we're losing sleep and we need counseling and we probably need medication to deal with all this. Oh, look.
Speaking of the devil.
Speaking of the Phoenix. She's risen. They've risen, knowing that we're speaking of the church and then
Morning,
all
mom and
the
dad.
goodness. Good morning, mom and dad. How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Deplorable. We see what they're doing. We see the tactics that they employ. I could never trust an organization who does this, even if they were in the right. Like, if a good organization is doing all of this just to avoid, you know, opening up the books or litigation, something's weird about that. That's not right.
Yeah, but the problem is when they're doing these things, they're never in the right.
No,
So,
no, it's
you
never.
know,
Yeah.
you're not having good corporations or good companies do use these tactics when they're doing the right thing because they don't need
Mm-mm.
to.
They wouldn't even, right. They probably, number one, would never be put in that position. But number two, I doubt that they would play these type of mind games, because it just makes you look bad. Like a lawyer lying in an affidavit saying that they have control and then they don't have control. And then they say, oh, now you're trying to get information from us. Let me block that. It's all just a runaround in order to exacerbate and steal money basically from the victims, their time. So they at some point just want to give up. But I'm so thankful that they're just playing that game right back. The lawyers that they have, I gotta say, they're dishing it right back out to them.
And what's sick too is if you remember several years ago when the Watchtower organization was fined like $2,000 a day for not turning over their records, and they
Right.
held on to that, and they paid over $2 million in fines
Mm-hmm.
because they would not
Sickening.
turn these records over. So they're willing to pay out millions, literally millions of dollars to keep
Mm-hmm.
these records from getting out, to protect, to cover their own asses rather than help any of you victims out there. That's how disgusting these people are. You know how
It,
much
oh,
good $2 million can do?
oh my gosh. Oh my God. We could get people the counseling that they need after leaving this kind of organization. Like they should have to set up funds for this instead of the government just handing over money and saying, okay, well, I hope you do good things with it. Oh, their good thing is knocking on people's door. Proselytization is a good thing for the
Yeah.
community in the Jehovah's Witnesses point of view. What they should be making, I'd love to figure out how to do this, is making them set up a fund where people who have been harmed can go to have resources for the help that they need after surviving abuse at the hands of this organization. Maybe one day, I mean, honestly, y'all, like I think about these things, I just wish I knew what I was doing, but one day I think I will know what I'm doing. One day I'll be able to
And
do
two
these things.
and $2 million would have been a great starter fund.
Oh my God. Oh my, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
I'm just sick. I'm just sick thinking about it. And that money just went back into the freaking court systems that they're going to continuously abuse. Thanks for that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along.
All right, let us keep on moving. So I have can you imagine that the Archdiocese of Baltimore would be claiming bankruptcy? This is a complete shocker. Why would
Whoa.
they need to file for bankruptcy? Well, I'll tell you why, kids. The reason that they're filing for bankruptcy in Baltimore, because Maryland just passed a law. It's called the Child's Victims Act. And you know how we've discussed the statute of limitations in each state? Like you need to get familiar with the statute of limitations when it comes to child abuse and fight back to give children the opportunity, the window of time to be able to speak about the abuses that they suffered. So, Maryland, thank you, Maryland, for being so brave and passing this act. It took effect a couple days ago. So, that is why the Archdiocese has claimed bankruptcy so they can halt the lawsuits that will be now filing in because this Victim Act was passed. So it's just so conniving, so sneaking, and like you said, dubious that you would now claim bankruptcy and victims will now have to go through bankruptcy court to get any recompense from what happened to them. My
And
heart is
that
breaking.
and that's sick because I've
It
been through
is.
bankruptcy, and it's just another step and adds longer processes, more paperwork. It just slows
Yeah.
everything down so much. And it's just like, again, this is one of those situations where if you just give up the gun and say, you know what, we're in the wrong here, let's help out instead of hurting people and just pay up, you would do so much more good faster for people. And that, for me, even I don't believe in any of these religions, but it would give me so much more respect for them if they did something
Exactly.
like that. Because
I,
when they
I
do crap like this, I have zero respect for them, period.
no faith. I have no faith, no trust. And, they consistently say that the reason they don't want to get rid of the clergy privilege is because people will lose trust in them. This behavior is what makes us lose trust in these institutions because
Hmm.
you purposely circumvent victims' ability to get help. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't care
Mhm.
to help these victims get the survivors. I really should be calling them survivors, the counseling or just the compensation for the bull crap they went through. One of the lawsuits I looked at, it equals out to something that got against the Catholic, one of the Catholic churches. It equaled out to something like $45,000 per victim. And I mean, when you add it up, that could be a year's worth of therapy. That's it. And
Oh yeah.
you need consistent therapy, when you've been abused, or at least, you
Mhm.
should have that available to you if you feel the need. And 45K ain't doing it. It's not
No,
doing bubkiss for you.
not at
Um
all.
yeah, so I like I love the fact that now that this law is passed, like other churches are going to be affected too, other institutions, not just the archdiocese. But it's just for this specific group of people, they're going to be hindered. Now, as far as the other lawsuits that are now going to be probably pouring in, let's hope, please, please, please pour in all the lawsuits against the big churches. They're going to have like a process. I forget how they said they were going to do it, but they're going to have a process to make it go smoother. They're going to see certain cases first that they like know can really hit heavy, and then start to filter out all the other ones that maybe there's, I don't know, maybe it's evidence based or just time based, things of that nature. But they are going to have a process to make it go smoother, which is cool that they're thinking about how to help these victims as expeditiously as possible. So that is at least a positive to the story.
Yeah. I mean, we want to try to get the most positive we can out of a situation, even though especially this kind of situation really sucks
Yeah,
still.
yeah, it's very sad, especially for children. But this is the thing. I've read a lot of different articles about this, and it seems to be that children who are abused, they don't really come to, I don't know, not accept, but they're not willing or not ready to talk about it until they are in their 50s, right?
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
huge gap of time. There's not going to be proof. Like, it's a very difficult thing for somebody, I'm sure, to be 50 something and saying like, "Hey, this happened to me. Like, please believe me." That has to be super scary, and I just like want them to know that we're very proud of them. We champion them, and I'm happy that they will be getting their day in court. We just need to continue to push our states that we live in and letting them know that we want the same thing. We want these floodgates to be opened for victims.
And that's why we need to, like you're saying, push our states to get rid of statutes of limitations on such things,
Mhm.
because to put limitations on things like that, you are just not helping thousands and maybe millions of victims out there
Right.
that have gone through this and will
Oh,
never get
yeah.
a chance to get the help they need or the justice they deserve.
Yeah, I have a number for you actually. So in this one case from not one case, excuse me, from Maryland, over 600 children abused by 156 men.
Jeez.
So that amount of people can harm that amount of children, right? So we're looking
Yeah.
at a smaller group that really has the ability to touch hundreds of kids that are coming in and out of their church. So it's frightening numbers. Like, that's frightening. And some of this stuff has been happening since like 40, 50 years ago, and nothing was ever said until now. It's just been covered up.
Yeah.
Ugh,
You know,
sick.
and Mary made a good, or Fee made a good point here, how people pretend that CSA doesn't affect you for the rest of your life. And, they try to make it like it doesn't, but it really does. And,
Mhm.
these 40, 50 years pass by, these people are still feeling the effects of it, you know,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that they still need the help.
They do. They really do. And um, it's going to take us to come together and fight these systems. They're not just going to do nice things for us because they care about us. The government does not. It does not
Yeah.
care about us. They just care about getting the money from us. So we have to be the ones to use our voices and let them know we're not going to put up with this crap anymore.
Yeah.
We need justice. We want justice for survivors.
Yes, we do. All right. We ready to move on to another
Yes.
story?
I am ready to skeet, skeet, skeet.
Yeah. So our next story, I was reading on Reddit, and it was about the payment terminals at the assemblies and conventions. And
Fuck
for
it. I can't believe I'm living. This
I,
is not real world. This is not real life.
I know, but this person
Oh.
here posted how in their meeting, this was just a few days ago, they had a special announcement that until further notice, there will be no terminals at the conventions. If you wish to make electronic donation, you should use JW Donate because it's cheaper and safer. So
Oh, safer. What does that
safer.
that makes me wonder, did something happen? Why would they say
Well,
safer?
I wonder if one of those terminals possibly got hacked, or or
What if they were
my
really
other
susceptible?
my other thought on that is somebody did somebody devise a way to steal money from those terminals, a witness themselves, or steal credit
I
card
wouldn't be
numbers by using,
surprised.
because you know how like you've seen stories
Right.
where you have like the card swipers on gas station pumps and stuff.
Yeah, the little fake
Yeah.
uh-huh,
If you got the device and
card
put it on the
readers.
little terminal and people are swiping their cards and you getting their numbers, I'm just throwing it out there. It's
No,
speculation. I have no idea, but it is a
but that makes me
possibility.
wonder, and we'll never, like, unless it became a real news story, we'd never find out.
Yeah.
But it's weird that to me, that they're changing it like that.
But then
I
think about this
mm.
too. So those terminal stations, they have um, fees that they charge that are charged by the vendor, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times, depending on the company, they don't pass that fee on to the consumer or the customer, because if they have enough transactions, it'll more than take care of whatever that fee is. It's not a big deal, but they still are getting the fees. So on the cheaper side, are they saving money by not paying out those fees, and because they have their own system
Mhm.
online that they want you to go to instead?
Hmm. I
So
wonder. Yeah, I went and looked at their donation page because I thought it was an app, but it's not an app, because then if they had an app, it would have to be in the Apple Store. At least I'm pretty sure. Like, if you want an app on the iPhone, you have to have it in the Apple Store, or at least it has to be, approved by them. And then we could write reviews. Cause I was hoping, I was like, oh, let me get my hands on a JW review. There are other apps out there, but they're not from the org. It's just other people. So I didn't want to be rude and like leave reviews about that. I thought that would be too
oh,
far.
bullshit. Don't lie to everybody. You don't want to be rude.
I do want to be I
I
want
know
to
you
be really
lying.
rude. I want to be really rude. I do, but I did have restraint and I held myself back. I was like, "Nah, let me not." But oh, James. So have you seen the Murdoch murder? Some high profile lawyer, Alex Murdoch, he murdered his family. Did you hear
I've
about this?
I've heard of it, but I haven't like I don't know anything about it though.
Okay, am I the only one who missed the fact that a Jehovah's Witness sent him a doomsday text hours before he murdered his family?
What?
Dude, I just
What?
found this out yesterday, and it happened in May.
Whoa.
I know. I wanted to talk to you about it, but it actually like slipped my mind. I have it written down, but I got notes. Like I got notes everywhere. I got freaking notes here, there, up my ass.
And
So
folks, we try to bring you the latest news. This is like been stewing for a while, okay?
right, but yeah. So I actually found it on Fit News, all one word. You can watch the story. They're the ones I believe who broke it. So they called the woman. Well, if y'all want, I'll give you like the full report next week, or if you want, I can just kind of give it to you what I know here. But the this journalist called the sister and was speaking to her about how she knew Alex, and I guess Alex was a lawyer for either her specifically, so that's how she knew him, or maybe he was a lawyer for the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's, something I'm not clear on, but she knew him. And she said that regularly she would text about 100-ish people, certain texts about the Jehovah's Witnesses organization. It's something she normally does, she says. Well, she texted him, a man who was, he was a high profile lawyer who was now being investigated for like money laundering and all these really like bad things. Like homie was going down. She texts him something about money can't solve your problems with the catastrophe that is about to come, meaning like Armageddon, and money can't
Oh,
save you.
jeez.
Bro.
Oh my God.
And hours later, he shot his wife and his son and tried to cover it up. I've subsequently caught, but and that's the thing, it wasn't a good news text. It was a completely like Armageddon-esque text, and that's what she's texting people on a regular Oh, you have to listen to the interview because the lady is whack. Oh, this is not nice. She's wackadoodle. Like it was like, oh yes, he was so not, I can't say a bad thing about Mr. Alex. He was always such a sweet person. And he would say to me, oh, if you ever need anything, all you have to do is give me a call, you hear? And then she would like laugh. He was just the sweetest. And I just can't say a bad thing. Honey, he just murdered his entire family, but you can't say a bad thing about him. Okay. And then when she found out that she had been the one, like sent him a text, she kind of laughed it off. And that's where she explained, like, oh, you can find out more on jw.org. She was like, oh, you're going to want to hear this good news. Oh, yeah, it's a good, honey, you might have pushed him over the edge.
Doesn't that remind you a little bit when just the other week we were talking about the Danny Masterson trial and the people sending letters to their lawyers like Ashton and Mila? I mean,
right.
It's the kind of
like you just hung yourself, dummy.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to say, oh, he's give him a character letters here, but this guy's character is all shit anyways.
Right. Like, oh
and
my
it's the
gosh.
same thing going on here.
And you know what even bothered me about that is like they tried to lie and say like the judge, the decision had already been made. Yeah, we know the decision had already been made, but the sentencing had not been made. Those character letters were so that way the judge would have leniency in the sentencing. Oh, they skipped over that part. But yeah, if y'all want, I can get a more like updated. I could even get clips of the interview because I feel like that's really pretty deep, and I feel like that's not making news coverage because I was going to do it for my own self because I was so intrigued and I want to know more. But like, that's so wild. She sends that text, and next thing you know,
yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe that should be a preview for next week's show.
There you go. Now you know why you got to come next week.
That's right. One last little thing I wanted to share today. It's it's on the lighter side of things. It's kind of a cute thing, but at the same time, it's disgusting and repulsive. So,
Okay. I like that. Right up my alley.
so
Oh my god, she's so cute. I can't.
here, can can you hear it too?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so cute. Okay. Ricky, we need to go to work. Oh my god, she's so cute. I can't. Like
So, like I said,
Oh,
it's cute.
it is. My heart's kind of breaking just watching
Ex-
this.
exactly, and that's where I wanted to get at with that was, you know, the childhood indoctrination
Yeah.
and how they're flaunting it like that, and those ladies on the street have no idea what's going on, what really
Mm-mm.
is happening right there. They see this cute little girl and she pulls them. That's funny. Oh,
Oh my God. Yeah.
oh
What if those
boy.
women were like, I'm gay?
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
that's
Oh my God.
okay.
Yeah. Right. And
Uh-huh.
and that's where I draw the line. No, you can't just hate the sin, not the sinner. That's not cool. That
But see,
doesn't
like
work.
you and I were both there. We were both children in this organization. We both went knocking on doors. We didn't have carts when I was a kid. Yeah. Or when I was pioneering. Boy, I wish I had carts when I was pioneering.
Oh my
That's
God. That would
okay,
have been so
Tony. We're
easy.
glad that you made it.
Yes. Thank
But
you.
I mean, I could have made my time so easy with those carts and not had to talk to nobody. It would have been great.
Oh yeah, I could have stood there with a smile on my face cuz I get anxiety and my hands would always shake going up to the door. I hated being fake. I felt like I was selling something I didn't have any belief in, and I don't like faking. I can't do it. And that's how I felt my entire life every time I was forced to indoctrinate somebody else. And like that poor little girl, it makes me sad because that is going to be the only way she'll get a reaction from her parents, like to be
Yep.
proud of her, is when she's doing something structured on the organization, like standing and jumping and grabbing people, like, oh, they're gonna they're gonna cheer that little girl on in the Kingdom Hall, like she's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
the ugh. So
And
she's
then
just gonna keep doing it.
and I'm sure speculation, but I'm sure that's going to be something that they'll brag about on probably one of their assembly parts
Oh
or
yeah.
even district convention. How this little girl, look at her
Mhm.
zeal and how she's going. And you're just grabbing people and pulling them over. That's the kind of zeal we should have. You should be like this little girl, and just pushing that on people and making them feel even more guilty for something they don't want to do anyways.
Right. They're using that child as a prop, and I wouldn't be surprised if the organization didn't see that video and, wanted to use it somehow. I don't know if they do that. That might set some kind of trend that they're not wanting to start. Like they don't might not want people to go and look for JW videos like that because then they could be open to something else. So possibly not, but we know that it's going to be seen and people are going to be like, oh, look how adorable that little girl is. Like, no, she's being used as a pawn. And quite frankly, I bet you there's a lot of pervs who are loving that video.
Yeah.
A little girl in a short dress. So I'm not trying to be gross, but I've seen like the way people love to save videos of little children. And it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
abnormal the amount of saves and shares it gets. Like that's not all
Mm-hmm.
JWs. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah. And think of the other kids in the hall if they're not acting just like her either.
Yeah, she is now going to be the level, the standard of how you should be. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why can't you be like little Gina Marie? Like, she loves it when she's out in service. And look, she's grabbing people's hands and trying to talk. Why aren't you doing that? Oh, good point.
I just wonder what the odds are that you actually got her name right and you just told her her real name.
Wouldn't that be like so funny if I did accidentally like know her name? They'll be like, Ryan, how dare you? Disgusting. You talk about protecting children, and then you just gave everybody that little girl's name and told them to save it.
But I didn't know.
Like, I'm a prophet. I didn't realize. Yeah, right. I mean, it is those kind of things that we don't think about, but I think about it because I follow a lot of abuse survivors online, just so honestly, just so I can understand like things about myself and just other understandings about what people have went through. And they've really pointed out to me like showing some differences of certain videos about certain subjects, but then when a child appears in that subject, the saves, the shares are off the chart. It's not normal.
No, it's not.
No,
And you
it's not.
shouldn't be using children like that,
Like, why would you want a picture of my kid on your phone?
See,
Like, I
there's
get it. Like, if
proof.
you scroll past something, like, yeah, I get it. But James,
I was that child.
Oh, see, it works.
Because I
A
was
little
I was
joyful
cute.
kid. You were.
I was, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I know I'm not no more.
I'm
You ain't
just
hurting my
kidding.
feelings. I ain't got no
Stop
feelings.
it. Stop. The JW's got rid of those. Out the door. You're not allowed to have feelings or emotions as a JW.
No,
just
you're
happiness.
not. Yeah.
All the time, all day, every day. Life is good. Oh, help us. Yeah, life is really good, as you can see.
Yes.
Learn more at jw.org. Celeste always
JW.org.
does that. Yeah, .org. Oh, Celeste always is doing that on TikTok, and she cracks
Thank you,
me
Linda.
up.
You're sweet.
Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate your support. Having the ability to talk to you, to spread the word about what these high control religions are doing behind closed doors. If you ever have a story that you'd like us to discuss, you can send us an email or leave a comment. But the shares, the likes, it has really helped. We're almost at 500. So that's amazing. We're truly
and I
thankful
see some
for
new
that.
faces in here today, which is nice. So welcome new faces to the channel this morning. Nice to see you all here.
We appreciate you being here. It's I didn't think I would ever be doing this. This is not what I set out to do, but I feel really compelled to, number one, learn from the community, learn more about what's happening in this world, because I really feel like I'm super behind with my understanding of just even how the government works, how voting works. Like these are all new concepts to me. And that's by design. They try to keep us unknowing, dumb, in a little bubble, so that way we never have a voice. And that's part of the reason why I know I feel compelled to use my voice, because they didn't expect that. That's not what they wanted, but it's what they got. So
and especially from someone like you, a woman, they really don't want women to have a voice either. They don't want the typical guy to have a voice, but they really don't want a woman to have a voice either, because they really do their best to keep you all shut up. And
they do.
You doing this is just like smacking them right in the face, saying, I don't give a shit. And that's great.
Oh, sorry. I was just punching the organization real quick.
Well,
but exactly.
We support you. We love you too. Feel free to reach out to us if you ever need any help or anything too, because we understand being there and being a PMO as well. So, definitely reach out if you need anything.
Are you asking? I apologize. I'm not sure how to say your first name. Ilrak? Are you saying have a TikTok live? Sorry, or I'm not even sure if you're talking to us or if you're talking to somebody in the comments. Oh, you're oh, well, welcome. Welcome. I
Yes,
hope you're
welcome.
doing okay. We have a few of those in the
Um,
channel
I
as well.
I did post the link to our Discord server as well, and so it's a great place to come and be able to chat and relax, and just get off your chest whatever you want to get off too. So please, it's in the chat earlier. I posted it, so please feel free to join that. And we're gonna wrap the show up here right now. Uh, Again, thank you everybody for joining us this week. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you're able to. I understand if you're PMO, you may not be able to.
Right. We
So
understand.
don't put yourself in harm's way. Please
No.
don't.
No,
We
no,
don't
no,
want that for
please.
you. Okay. But if you can, those who can, please do. And please join us again next week as we have another weeks of news for you to bring to you. And as always, apostate your way.
Listen, obey, and be blessed.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.